Langbaum.
You can keep lowering for me. Okay, so I'm taking a little bit of a different perspective and talking about how we engage participants to even consider participating in these sorts of studies. And with taking an example from Alzheimer's disease prevention studies, so Alzheimer's disease has not been touched upon here. And so I want to provide two examples for your consideration. The first is we have a trial in a very rare form of Alzheimer's disease, autosomal dominant Alzheimer's disease. And when we were, and actually it's in collaboration with Genentech and Roche. And when we were initially conceiving of this trial, we thought, how would we even engage a very large community of individuals to consider participating in a study? So we had to launch a clinical trials registry in Colombia, South America, where this trial is taking place. And at the time, our colleague in Colombia, Dr. Francisco Lopera, estimated that he had a few hundred families that he had been following. He thought maybe he'd be able to eventually get in contact with 2,000 or 3,000 of the estimated to be 5,000 living family members, kindred family members of this, the world's largest autosomal dominant mutation, kindred in Colombia. And as they were going about in the community, he and his colleagues down there have enrolled over 5,000 people, 5,600 people to date, all who are distantly related to a common ancestor. Of these, we've identified over 1,100 mutation carriers, over 4,000 kindred non-carriers. And I think the lesson here is that in this very mixed community in Colombia, both rural and metropolitan areas, there is considerable interest in research, but it has taken quite a bit of community outreach, review of baptismal records and marriage records and other church records to identify the families, then going out and speaking with them and talking about the importance of research, educating the family members that their disease is not a curse, it's a genetic mutation, and that there's hope and possible research participation. And this trial, this registry has really been the reason why we were able to complete enrollment into the autosomal dominant trial. The second example I wanted to share was our program called Gene Match, which we launched just over a year and a half ago almost, as an online trial independent genetic testing registry for recruitment of Alzheimer's prevention studies taking place in the United States. And this is a study we wanted to, this resource we wanted to put together to support our Alzheimer's Prevention Initiative Generation Study, which is enrolling APOE4 homozygotes. But we wanted to create a resource so that when we were identifying individuals and they were not genetically eligible for this particular study, that they could be recontacted for other studies. It's important to point out that for this particular program, participants are not told their APOE test results. However, the studies to which they are referred to may ask that it may require APOE disclosure as part of their enrollment. And in order to facilitate this, Gene Match uses a CLIA-CAP accredited lab. And so far, we have been able to enroll over 30,000 people into the Gene Match program. This speaks to there is a high level of interest in people to participate in research, and we are overly enriched for APOE4 homozygotes so far to date. This has required quite a bit of outreach and education, and I think the biggest barrier to why people haven't joined right now is that they don't like that Gene Match does not tell them their APOE test results. So getting back to this return of results, it's a hot topic issue. People want to know their results, and unfortunately, we are unable to provide that to them. This program requires quite a bit of continued engagement with participants, since it could be months to years until they receive a call to action to participate in a study. And this is the primary recruitment source for our generation study. And just an example of a funnel for identifying participants for this generation study, we estimate that just in the United States alone, we might need to enroll over 100,000 people into the Gene Match program to find the approximately 600 people that will be randomized in the US. This doesn't take into account Canada and Europe, Australia, and other countries where this trial is taking place. So considerably, it's a big funnel trying to reach down to find that rare genetic group. So thank you very much.